Hi students, and welcome to this video on hormones of the endocrine system. Today we'll be learning about what the hormones are in the endocrine system and looking at some examples of them. And in particular we'll be focusing on insulin and glucagon. And this is because the endocrine system is an important part of maintaining homeostasis. Hormones are little chemicals that travel in the bloodstream. They bind to specific receptors, which are called target cells. All right, so here we have a cell that is making the hormones, and they're shown as these little purple diamonds, all right, and they're traveling in the bloodstream until they come to a receptor on a target cell. And you can see just here we have a receptor bound to a hormone. Okay, and there's a feedback loop. So if blood hormones are low, the feedback goes back to the gland to produce more hormones, and the reverse is true. If your blood hormones are too high, there's a negative feedback loop to the gland to tell it to produce less hormones. Let's look at the adrenal glands first. The adrenal glands are found near our kidneys, all right, so here they are on your body, and they produce adrenaline. So when your body is stressed or it is undergoing intense exercise or danger, your adrenal glands release adrenaline, which activates your sympathetic nervous system, which we've already looked at, and this is your fight or flight response. Let's look at the sex hormones first. So we've got estrogen and testosterone. So estrogen is made by the ovaries, and it causes changes in females during puberty. And testosterone is produced by the testes, and they cause the changes in men during puberty. Let's look at growth hormone next. So growth hormone is made by the pituitary gland. So that's the gland inside our brain. And this controls the growth of all tissues and also controls our metabolism, which is how we change glucose into energy for our bodies. So this man over here, he produced too much growth hormone in his pituitary gland, and he grew very, very, very tall. Oxytocin is secreted by the pituitary gland. So another hormone that's secreted by the gland that's in our brain. It causes contraction of muscles in the uterus during childbirth. Antidiuretic hormone. Now this is one that you probably haven't come across yet. Now you might have heard of dialysis though, and this is what happens if your kidneys aren't working. It's a machine that is in hospital that helps clean your blood. Or you might have heard of people being on diuretics, which are tablets that you take when you have heart problems, and they help control the fluid levels in your bodies. Okay, so this gives us a clue that antidiuretic hormone is something to do with the balance of water or fluid in our blood. So antidiuretic hormone is made by our hypothalamus, and it's secreted by the pituitary gland. So two glands in our head, in our brain, are responsible. And this hormone is released when we have low blood pressure. All right, so if we are dehydrated, if we've been doing lots of exercise, like this man over here, our hypothalamus and pituitary glands secrete the antidiuretic hormone, and this tells our kidneys to concentrate the urine, to stop losing so much water in the urine. And melatonin. Melatonin is produced by the pineal gland, which is in our brain, and this is actually inhibited by daylight. So we have low levels of melatonin during the day, and this helps us sleep better and regulate when we're awake and when we're asleep. Okay students, so we've done a very quick overview of the hormones of the human body. Now we are going to focus on two in more detail. So let's look at insulin and glucagon. Both these hormones are produced by the pancreas, and they are important for controlling our blood sugar levels, all right, or the amount of glucose in our blood, which in a 70 kilo person is about 4 grams is the amount of glucose that you need in your bloodstream. And this is important because your brain needs that glucose to work properly. And if it falls too low, you'll go into a coma. And if it goes too high, the sugar levels can actually cause damage to your tissues. Okay, so let's imagine that we have high blood sugar, all right, and this is detected, and this causes the pancreas to produce insulin. All right, so this loop here, pancreas produces insulin, and that causes the tissue cells, so for example, the muscles, the kidneys, the fat cells, to take glucose into them from the blood. So high blood sugars travel out of the blood into the cells where they're used for energy. All right, and this causes the blood sugar to drop to normal levels. Okay, the other thing that could happen is if we have low blood glucose detected. So over here, low blood sugars, this causes the pancreas to produce glucagon. Now, glucagon works on the liver, and the liver is a huge organ that does lots of things, but among some of its jobs is to store glycogen, which is like a storage facility for glucose. So once glucagon signals the liver to break down glycogen into glucose, this causes the blood sugar to get higher. Okay, so this is the loop. This is an example of a negative feedback loop, okay, because remember we had low blood sugar, the pancreas produced glucagon, and that raised the blood sugar, all right? So that is negative feedback. How did you go in your learning today, guys? Can you pause the video and answer these questions? All right, so let's match the hormones with their effect that they have. Antidiuretic hormone is the one that causes concentration of your urine. Melatonin helps our sleep patterns. Growth hormone causes growth and also controls our metabolism. And last one, adrenaline, causes the flight or fight response, which remember is our sympathetic nervous system. Now, which hormone does the pancreas release when blood glucose is high? And the answer is insulin. So if you got that one, give yourself a pat on the back. That's fantastic. And finally, number 3, how does glucagon raise the levels of blood glucose? All right, so remember, if our blood glucose levels are low, our pancreas produces glucagon, which acts on the liver, and this causes the liver to break down glycogen, which is turned into glucose, and this blood glucose then goes into the blood and raises the levels there. Okay guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure you email your teachers. Have a great week. See you later.